Very good morning, students. Welcome to another lecture on microprocessor and microcontrollers. In fifth chapter, today we are going to discuss about the UART. So what is UART? Universal Asynchronous Receiver and Transmitters. In the previous session I have already told you that it is an asynchronous serial communication. Okay, so as a in the asynchronous mode, it is an transmitted and received with different clock frequencies, and for the transmission of each and every data bit it has to enter a start and stop bits, and it is used for low data transmission, and it is used to exchange data with another equipment such as PC. So here we are using see here the UART takes bytes of data and transmits the individual bits in a sequential fashion. That means here we are transmitting the data in a bit by bit fashion along with a start and stop bits. At the destination, a second UART reassembles. See here, here the second UART is going to reassembles the data, reassembles the bits into a complete byte. That means it receives the data in a bit by bit fashion, and at the receiver end it is going to reassemble all those bits, and it will be in a complete byte. Okay, in the each UART contains shift registers, which is a fundamental method of conversion between serial and parallel form. So each UART is containing a shift register. Here these shift registers are used to send the data in a serial fashion or in a parallel form. That means after conversion of the data, it will be sent in a serial or in a parallel fashion. See here, this is the block diagram of your UART. So here we are bifurcating all this block diagram into 4 parts. This is section 1, and this will be your section 2, and this will be your section 3, and this is your section 4. So in the first section, this is nothing but a clock section. Okay, in this clock section we have 4 clock cycles, 4 input clocks here: SMCLK, SMCLK and ACLK. As we all know that SMCLK and ACLK are the input clocks, and this UC0CLK, it is an external clock. So this is an external clock input. So here BRCLK in sense, coming here, UCLK means UCLK. This is a clock selection mode. See here, what type of clock we are going to select? Either it is an ACLK or SMCLK or UCLK, or an external clock or an internal clock. Here BRCLK in sense baud rate clock. That means baud rate means number of bits transmitted per second. So here, after selecting this clock baud rate clock, it will be given as input to the prescaler or a modulator. See here, before going to that one, this is our second section, that is a transmission section. See here, the data or the bits whatever we need to transmit will be stored in this transmitter buffer register, and this data will be sent to the transmit shift register. As he had already mentioned that each UART contains a shift register, which is a fundamental method of conversion between serial and parallel forms. That means it is to be sended or it is to be transmitted serially, or it is to be received or parallelly. Okay, see here, it also consists of 4 pins here, 4 ports here. These 4 ports, so these 4 ports here, see, this is UC7 bit. That means here in this register we are going to transmit either 7 bit or 8 bit. Generally we are going to transmit 8 bits. So how many bits is to be transmitted? See, next one is UCMSB. That means if this bit is set, then MSB bit is going to be transmitted first, otherwise LSB bit is going to be transmitted. And here UCPAR in sense U parity select. If this bit is set to 1, then even parity is selected, and if this bit is set to 0, then odd parity is selected. And coming to the UCPN, this is nothing but parity enable. That means enabling the parity bits. So depending upon this, the data will be transmitted to the transmitter pin and or received. So the data which is received here, the receiver section pins sends the data here, and this will be sent to the universal UC0 RX buffer received buffer register here. It is see here, this bit or this block selects or decides the baud rate generation. That means how many bits are to be generated or how many bits has to be transmitted within a section or within a given clock period. So a clock is generated, and this clock is given to the receive shift register. Based on these values, okay, the data is being transmitted here. So coming to the mode features of this UART mode, as I have already told you that 7 or 8 bit data with odd, even or non-parity, whether it may be in odd parity or even parity or it is in non-parity, will be transmitted. Independent transmit and receive shift registers. See here, these shift registers are not dependent. That means independent transmit, shift and receive registers, and a separate transmit and receive buffer registers. So here we are having a separate transmit and separate receive buffer registers here. So it means data transmission time will be less. So first LSB or MSB, LSB first or MSB first, data transmit and receive depending upon this bit. You see MSB depending upon this bit value, the first received data will, or the first transmit data will be either or MSB or an LSB bit. So see here, next one, built-in ideal line and address bit communication protocols for multi-processor system. So an ideal line, so multi-processor, there is a built-in ideal line and address bit communication protocols are there for whenever we are dealing with a multi-processor system, so that the system, it does not depend on any other things. Okay, the receiver started detection for auto wake up from low power mode selections. So a receiver start edge, that means whether it may be in raising edge or a starting edge. And coming to the next one, programmable baud rate with modulation for fractional baud rate support. The baud rate will be changing based upon the input numbers, and status flags are affected. Error flags, it will be discussed in the next upcoming slide. Status flags are for error detection and suppression. Some status flags will be affected based on the error detection and data suppression, and status flags for address detection also will be affected. Independent interrupt capability for receive and transmit. Independent interrupt capability, so it won't depend upon the receiving or transmitting data. Coming to that, format of data for asynchronous transmission. Data are sent in short frames, and each frame contains the, as I also told you that the data is of only 8 bits. That means for transmission of data, it should have a start bit as well as a stop bit. See here, one low start bit compulsory, that means one low start bit, that means whenever the logic is 0, then the start bit will be transmitted. 8 data bits, usually LSB first based. See, previously we have seen that if first LSB or first MSB based on the pin here, that is UC MSB, based on this pin, either it may be an MSB first or LSB first. 1 or 2 high stop bits. See here, this is a start bit, and as I've already told you that it is an 7 bit or 8 bit. So this is a 7 bit and this is an 8 bit data will be transmitted. So AD instance address bit, PA instance we are going to select the parity bit, that means enable parity enabling, and 1 or 2 stop bits. That means, for example, if I am transmitting 8 bits of data, then along with this 8 bits of data I have a start bit, 1 or 2 stop bit. That means we are transmitting almost all 10 bits of data. See here, the UART character format is shown below. It consists of a start bit, 7 or 8 data bits, even or parity bits, an address bit, and 1 or more stop bits. The UCMSB bit controls the direction of the transfer and selects MSB or LSB first, as I have already told you. In most applications, the LSB bit is transmitted first. Until and unless we make this pin as high, usually the LSB will be transmitted first. Okay, the start bit signals the start receiver that a new character is coming. See here, this start bit indicates that a new character is coming to the data. The start bit signals the receiver that a new character is coming. The next bit represents the character. If a parity bit is used, it would be placed after all of the data bits. Suppose parity, if there is a parity bit is set, that means even parity and or parity, first start bit shows that and a new data is been sending or receiving. After receiving the data, it shows an address bits, and also after that one it shows that a parity is there or not. The next 1 or 2 bits are always in the mark, that is a logic high, that is one condition called as a stop bits. See, this is a stop bits. As I have already told you that we have 1 or 2 stop bits. The signal the receiver that the character is completed, since the start bit is at logic low and the stop bits as at logic high. There are always at least 2 guaranteed signal changes between the characters. See here, based upon these stop bits, we can say that there is a signal change in the characters. All the operations of UART hardware are controlled by a clock signal which runs at a multiple of the data rate, typically 8 bits per rate. As I have told you that 8 bits of data is being transmitted, mostly 8 bits of data is being transmitted. The receiver tests the state of the incoming signal on each clock pulse, looking for the beginning of the start bit. So the receiver tests the state of the incoming signal, that means whether there is a stop signal or a start signal depending upon the clock pulse. Okay, so what is how we can set up the baud rate? Suppose here the baud rate gives the frequency at which the bits are transmitted on the line, and it is the inverse of the bit period, and the name is used to distinguish it from the rate at which useful data is communicated. As you can see, if you download a movie which is of 2 GB, for example, you are downloading a movie of 2 GB, and we can see here 1024 kbps, 1024 kbps, or 1 MB, 1.2 MB, like that, or okay, or 1.4 MB, 1.4 MB. This is our baud rate. That means this much number of bits are being transmitted per second. So upon this 2 GB is our complete data, and 1.4 GB sometimes if your internet access is very poor, then we can see that 1024 bits, 1024 kbps, like that. So this is our baud rate. So if baud rate is x bits per second, the time slot is available for 1 bit is 1 by x seconds. For example, if we are transmitting 8 bits of data, see here, each 8 bits of data are accompanied by a start bit and a stop bit. So the maximum data rate is only 8 by 10. Here we are transmitting 8 bits along with start bit and stop bit, 8 plus start bit is 1 and stop bit is 1. That is completely we have 10 bits. That means we are transmitting only 8 bits out of 10 bits. So no clock is transmitted in asynchronous communication. So the transmitter and receiver must run independently at nearly the same baud rate. As we have seen in the previous session that no clock signal. So no clock signal. See here, transmitter and receiver can be operated with different clock signal. This is different one clock signal and this one is separate clock signal. Okay. And for a given baud rate clock source, the baud rate is used determines the rate of division. For example, if we need to check the baud rate or number of clock sources, so this is FBR clock, baud rate clock by complete baud rate, as I have explained here. So the division factor n is often a non-integer value. Thus, at least one divider and one modulator stage is used to meet the factor as closely as possible. So, coming to the automatic error detection, as we have seen that in a synchronous mode we have some errors. It is an automatic error detection. That is here universal in this USCI module. This USCI module automatically detects the framing errors, parity errors, overrun errors, and breakdown conditions. See here. So what is framing error? So here we have a framing error. Framing error means, suppose if you are transmitting a data, it means it should be a synchronized manner. We need to transmit 8 bits. If we are transmitting 7 bits, then it is a framing error. If we need to transmit 8 bits, suppose we are transmitting 6 bits, that is a framing error. Parity errors, suppose even parity or odd parity, it will check for the parity. And overrun errors, suppose if you are transmitting a data called ECE, if you are transmitting the data ECE, this is the data what you have to be transmitted. Before transmitting, if you have transmitted only CE, then what happens? This is one branch and this is another branch. So here, see here, one E is missing here. That means it has been overrun. So apart from this, by seeing these two things, the branch is automatically changed. So this is nothing but overrun error and breakpoint condition and break conditions So whenever start bit and stop bits after 8 bits of data transmission, we need to have a break, otherwise the data will be over. You can see here the bits UCFE, means UCFE, framing error, parity error, overrun error and break error are set when their respective condition is detected. See how it is going to be detected. Framing error. Framing error occurs when a low stop bit is detected. That means even though stop bit it has to be in a low, so we need to transmit the data in a high node. So whenever the data is low, then it will be identify that a framing error has been occurred. So coming to the parity error, as I have already known that said that the parity error is a mismatch between the number of ones. That means it is a whether even parity or an odd parity, number of ones in a character and the value of the parity bit. Overrun error occurs when the character is located in a receiver buffer before the prior character has been read. Before reading the prior character, that is here have sent ECE and it has written ECE only. Before receiving the prior character, the next character is been transmitted or received, then it is nothing but an overrun error. And coming to the next one, UCB break condition. When not using automatic baud rate detection, a break detection is a break is detected when all the data, parity and stop bits are low. So after every byte of transmission there should be a break, otherwise it will be an overlap. So if there is no, when not using automatic baud rate detection, whenever we are not using this baud rate detection, a break detection will occur. When a break is detected when a data or a parity and stop bits are low. Okay, see here it is an, as I have already told you, it's an 8-bit register. See here bit 0, it is an synchronous mode. Synchronous mode is enabled. That means we need to check whether depending upon the bit value, suppose if the bit value is 0 and asynchronous mode is selected, and if a bit's value is 1, then it is it enters into a synchronous mode. Here bit 1 and bit 0, sorry, bit 1 and bit 2, it is in selection mode selection bit. Suppose 0 0, if both these values are 0 0, then it will be entered in an UART mode. 0 1 ideal line multiprocessor mode, 1 0 address bit multiprocessor mode, and 1 1 UART mode with automatic baud rate detection. Here automatic baud rate detection is not used. That means whenever we are entering into 1 1 mode, it allows an automatic baud rate detection. And coming to the next one, parity bit select, parity bit. So sorry, number of stop bits selected, stop bits, number of stop bits selected. If it is 0, 1 stop bit. If it is 2, we are going to have, sorry, if it is 1, we are going to have 2 stop bits. Okay, and 7-bit character length. So if it is 0, we are transmitting 8 data bits, and if it's 1, we are transmitting 7 data bits. So which one is the first, MSB or LSB? If it is 0, LSB is selected first, transmitted first. If it is 1, MSB is transmitted first based on the parity bit. 0 means odd parity, 1 means even parity. So bit 7, which is a parity enabled. So if it is 0, then parity is disabled. If it is 1, then parity is enabled. Thank you.